The sun beat down, heat shimmered, the air hung heavy and still. This was the great Erg, a sea of sand stretching to the horizon. Dunes, sculpted by the wind, rose and fell like frozen waves. The silence was absolute. No bird sang, no creature stirred. Even the wind held its breath. This place, untouched and ancient, held secrets buried deep. The sand, a canvas of time, whispered tales of civilizations long gone. It remembered their triumphs and their follies. It held their secrets close. The whispers were faint at first, a rustling like dried leaves skittering across the dunes. But as the sun climbed higher, the whispers grew stronger. They spoke of forgotten empires, of advanced technology, of a time when the desert bloomed. Each grain of sand held a fragment of the past, a piece of the puzzle. Those who dared to listen were drawn in, captivated by the allure of forbidden knowledge. They sat on the dunes, ears pressed to the warm sand, and listened. A lone figure stumbled across the dunes, his silhouette barely visible against the vast expanse of golden sand. Each step was a struggle, the scorching sun beating down mercilessly, draining his strength. Yet he pressed on, driven by a purpose that burned brighter than the desert sun. His name was Kalen, a scholar seeking the truth behind the legends. Legends that spoke of ancient civilizations and forgotten knowledge buried deep beneath the shifting sands. Kalen had dedicated his life to uncovering these truths, believing that they held the key to understanding humanity's past and shaping its future. He had journeyed for months, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a relentless determination. The desert was unforgiving, but Kalen's resolve was unbreakable. He had faced countless challenges, from treacherous sandstorms to the ever-present threat of dehydration, but each obstacle only strengthened his resolve. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the dunes, Kalen knelt in the sand. He cupped his hands around his ears and pressed them to the ground, listening intently. The desert had a voice, a whisper that spoke of secrets long forgotten. A rush of whispers filled his head, stories swirling around him like a desert wind, tales of ancient kings and lost cities, of knowledge that could change the world. Kalen knew he was close to something extraordinary, something that could validate his years of research and sacrifice. He learned of a powerful artifact, hidden deep beneath the sands, an artifact that was said to hold the wisdom of the ancients, a relic that could unlock the secrets of the past. Kalen's heart raced with anticipation. This was what he had been searching for, the culmination of his life's work, an artifact that could unlock the secrets of the past and reshape the future. It was more than just a relic. It was a beacon of hope, a chance to rewrite history. Kalen imagined the possibilities, the knowledge that could be gained, the impact it could have on the world. Kalen was determined to find it. His journey was far from over, but he knew that every step brought him closer to his goal. With renewed determination, he rose to his feet, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The desert had tested him, but it had also revealed its secrets, and Kalen was ready to uncover them all. Days turned into weeks. Kalen wandered the dunes, guided by the whispers. The desert was an endless expanse of golden sands, stretching out as far as the eye could see. Each sunrise brought a new hope, and each sunset a reminder of the relentless journey. The whispers were his only companions, filling the silence with promises and secrets. He grew gaunt, his skin tanned and weathered, but his eyes, fixed on the shifting sands, burned with an almost manic intensity. Every grain of sand seemed to hold a clue, every gust of wind a message. His body weakened, but his spirit remained unbroken, driven by an unyielding determination to uncover the truth. The sand spoke to him of a hidden oasis, a place where the artifact lay dormant. It painted vivid pictures in his mind, urging him forward, promising him enlightenment. The mirages were both a torment and a guide, showing him glimpses of what could be, If only he persevered. The oasis was more than just a destination. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon in the vast desert. He finally reached the oasis. A sense of peace washed over him. The sight of the clear water and the shade of the palm trees was a balm to his weary soul. It was as if the very air around him had changed, becoming lighter, more vibrant. The journey had been long and arduous, but in that moment it all seemed worth it. The air hummed with an unseen energy. He knew he was close. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, guiding him to the heart of the oasis. Every step he took resonated with purpose, every breath filled with anticipation. The artifact was near, and with it the answers he had sought for so long. The unveiling was at hand. But the whispers had a price. They chipped away at Kalen's mind, slowly eroding his ability to distinguish truth from illusion. He began to speak only in cryptic pronouncements. He could no longer lie, even to save himself. His words became blunt, his truths often hurtful. The sand had stripped him bare, leaving him exposed and vulnerable. He stumbled towards the center of the oasis, drawn by an invisible force. He knew the artifact awaited him, and with it the answers he sought. He reached a clearing, a vast expanse of desert sand stretching endlessly before him. The air was still, and the silence was almost palpable, broken only by the occasional whisper of the wind. He paused for a moment, taking in the desolate beauty of the landscape, feeling a strange sense of anticipation building within him. Suddenly, a faint glow emanated from the sand, catching his eye. It was subtle at first, a mere flicker of light, but it grew steadily brighter, casting an eerie luminescence across the barren ground. He felt an inexplicable pull towards the source of the glow, as if it was calling out to him. Kneeling down, he began to dig with trembling hands, the sand cool and gritty beneath his fingers. His heart pounded in his chest as he unearthed a smooth obsidian sphere, its surface cool and flawless. He held it up, marveling at its weight and the way it seemed to absorb the light around it. The sphere pulsed with a soft, rhythmic light, almost like a heartbeat. It was mesmerizing, and he couldn't tear his eyes away from it. The light seemed to dance across its surface, casting strange shadows on the sand. As he touched it, images flooded his mind, overwhelming him with their intensity. He saw flashes of a world long gone, a civilization that had once thrived in this very desert. Their lives, their achievements, their joys and sorrows all played out before him in a dizzying array of visions. He saw a technologically advanced civilization, their cities gleaming under a double sun. Towers of glass and metal reached towards the sky, and flying vehicles zipped through the air. It was a world of wonder and innovation, a testament to their ingenuity and ambition. But then he saw their downfall, a cataclysmic event that turned their paradise into a wasteland. The skies darkened, and the ground shook with violent tremors. Buildings crumbled, and the once thriving cities were reduced to rubble. The people, their faces etched with fear and despair, fled in all directions, but there was no escape from the devastation. The whispers in the wind intensified, becoming a deafening roar that filled his ears. It was as if the very desert was alive, its sands swirling and shifting with a life of their own. The air grew thick with dust, and he could barely see through the haze. They spoke of a terrible warning, a message from the past that had to be heeded. The visions were a reminder of the fragility of civilization, a cautionary tale of hubris and the consequences of ignoring the balance of nature. He knew that the knowledge he had gained was both a gift and a burden, a responsibility to ensure that the mistakes of the past were not repeated. Kalen recoiled, overwhelmed. He tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. The sand had taken his voice, his ability to communicate. He was lost in a sea of whispers. He clutched at his head, trying to silence the voices. They were tearing him apart, stripping him of his identity. The desert stretched before him, a vast and indifferent expanse. He was alone, lost in his own mind, a prisoner of the very truths he sought. The desert claimed him, slowly burying his sanity beneath the shifting sands. He became a ghost, a whisper himself, condemned to wander the dunes for eternity. The artifact remained, half buried, a silent testament to the insatiable hunger for knowledge and the terrible price it exacted. The desert held its secrets close. The whispers continued, carried on the wind, a warning to those who dared to listen. The great erg remained unchanged, a timeless expanse holding the secrets of the past. The sand whispered its tales, waiting for the next traveler foolish enough to listen. For in the heart of the desert, truth and madness danced hand in hand. A deadly waltz played out across the whispering sands. And every grain of sand held a story, a warning, a whisper from the past that could drive a man mad.